thank you for joining me on this podcast today. How are you feeling today?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So, Xenia, you're going to talk to us about your journey in terms of how yoga, which is your practice, has kind of changed the course of your life. So, let's start at the beginning. Do you want to tell me a little bit about kind of how you got into yoga and what your kind of background is?
So before I started the yoga, I just worked in marketing, and I'm kind of like I did a lot of different jobs and different work in my life, and I just tried to find something that is. I just wanted to get out of the office, basically. Yeah. So I started to do the yoga. I also started to work on events, on hen parties, all kinds of stuff. So
Mm.
basically, just the yoga was just kind of like a tool that I tried to find to get out of the office. And I didn't want to do I tried waitressing before, but I wanted to do something more interesting. So I started my yoga teacher training. And so I have to say, after the teacher training, I actually realized that here in Brighton it's really hard to make your living as a yoga or a personal trainer, yoga teacher, or whatever. Um,
So
I guess a lot of people.
just for the record, you live in Brighton or you practice in Brighton, which is on the
Yeah,
coast.
I live in Brighton.
Yeah.
I teach yoga on the seafront, so outside, and this is basically so I was working outside on different events, on like hen party events and stuff, and when after my yoga teacher training, I started to teach a little bit in different studios. Like I started to teach hot yoga and aerial yoga. And so basically when Corona started, studio where I taught closed, and instead of me doing Zoom, because I'm not a person, like I don't really like Zoom. I like to be
Mm.
personal. So I
Yes.
started to do the yoga on the beach.
Okay. And that had all come out of actual COVID because we
Yeah,
weren't allowed to
that's
be
from
inside.
COVID. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
That's from
amazing. That's absolutely, that's so cool. I mean, I just wanted to backtrack, Zena, just about, so prior to doing your teacher training, you was just going to classes just on the side while you had your full-time job. So obviously you had an interest in yoga before doing your teacher training. Is that correct?
Yes, of course. So I was doing yoga before, but I think for me it wasn't just that yoga that I was drawn to. I just wanted to get out of the office, and I wanted to do something that is fun, that is creative, that is something that I like doing. Like
Mm.
instead of just I was doing marketing before, and it's still interesting. It's still creative, but in the end, you just sit on the computer for 8 hours a day.
Tell me
So,
about it. So, and then it led to this whole COVID thing, and then you started to do outdoor yoga, which, I mean, how does that kind of work in like when it's raining and when it's cold?
yeah, no, when I started, I was like, okay, I just do it in any weather. But COVID, like 2020, it was so hot every day. So, there was, after a while, there was a rule that you can only meet people, like 6 people at a time when you do some sort of outdoor activity. So for a lot of people, it was like the only way to get out. So they came to my yoga class, and then later, when these limits were taken off, um, my yoga class just got bigger and bigger, and then after a while, it just kind of yeah. So it's
Amazing.
kind of like yeah.
I mean, what was your kind of thinking behind that? Did you just quit your job and start doing, did you just kind of have the faith to just say this is just going to work because of the fact that during COVID we had to be outside? Did you just kind of go for it, or what was actually your kind
So
of
the story,
worries or concern,
this
if
the
any?
story is actually a little bit different. I was followed. So basically, I actually, but before I also started to work more and more on events instead of in the office, which isn't yoga related, but it has loads of like same qualities because you talk to people, you're in front of people and da da da. And then I was furloughed. And me and my friend, we actually decided to start a hiking company. And this is now where the journey spreads a little bit, because actually I stopped, not stopped, but from starting from the yoga on the beach, I actually now organize forest bathing, wellness events, hen party yoga classes, and so on.
Oh,
So
so how does that all? How do you do yoga in hen parties, or you go to hen parties and how does that work?
so basically, so as I said before, it's actually quite difficult to be a yoga teacher in Brighton. There's so much competition. There's like more yoga teachers than students, basically. So actually, I haven't met a lot of people who could just be yoga teachers. So most people work full time as well here in Brighton. And so, and still, I mean, not quite a big following, but still, I couldn't make my living with just teaching yoga. But then I started to do the hen parties, and they're going really well. And the hen party is kind of like I combine kids yoga with funny poses, partner yoga. So it's kind of more fun as well. So it's like kind of yoga and the same fun, and you're on the beach and engaging with people. And like I reach a lot of people like that. So I've got a lot of bookings for that.
That's really imaginative for you to come out with a different concept of delivering yoga. Is that because you mentioned that there's tight competition where you are there in Brighton? And what, I mean, is it that you had to think of a different way to deliver yoga in order to make a living?
Yes. And plus also what you just said, what to do when it's raining, when it's cold. So I don't do it when it's raining, but I go through the winter, and you can't really put your mats down. It's cold. You can't stay still for too long. So
Really? Mm.
I was creating a mix. Just for the outdoor yoga, I was creating like a mix of Qigong, Pilates, kind of standing Pilates, yoga poses, yoga flow, and standing meditation instead of Shavasana. And it kind of like works out that you really feel like you did a really nice yoga practice, but you actually didn't lay down. And there's like lots of soft movements and then dynamic movements to keep warm. So that works. And then the funny thing is with the hen party, so I have a studio where we can go, but it's actually quite small. And this is how then, so I have 10 mats out, but I had 20 people. So I was like, okay, what to do? So 2 people on 1 mat. And I looked up partner yoga, and I found this kids yoga class. So now it's like 2 people on a mat, and we do lots of kids yoga partner classes, and people just love it. There's lots of laughing, and in the end, you still have this kind of yogi feeling. You did a really nice yoga class. You feel better in your mind. Do some breath work, and still have fun. And it's a perfect addition to any hen party, because you can start your day like that.
Yes.
And then everyone feels good, and then we go out, and yeah.
It sounds so fun. And it sounds like you really found a niche there of something different to offer, which kind of has enabled you to make a success of this particular type of yoga where you're kind of offering something a bit different. It all sounds really smooth sailing. Was it? Or did you have any challenges, or was it?
I don't feel like there was too much challenges, to be honest, for me, because so I kind of like, so this is one branch. So there's a hen parties, then I do the hiking and yoga, just here in the countryside. Then now we've got a outdoor kind of place with shelter. There will be wildflowers around it. We do the outdoor yoga there, and we can do foraging, forest bathing. And it's kind of like, so this isn't Bolney, just outside of Brighton, where we do wellness events, and you can book it as a hen party or as a team building event. And so basically my company, so Brighton Yoga, is kind of going in this direction. And so for the future, I'm planning to in Bolney, which is like 20 minutes from Brighton. So that team building events and stuff, they can book it, and then they do the outdoor yoga, they do foraging, they There's a barbecue, there's like a fireplace, there's woodlands, there's deer. And yeah, so this is kind of
Oh,
like from when I started
yes.
just to do the outdoor class because of COVID. It just added further and further things. And I just went with people book. So if people didn't book something, I just wouldn't go there. So in the end, now I've got like fully booked yoga and forest bathing events. I have these wellness events that book out very quickly. The hen parties, and lots of people come to the yoga. So it's actually kind of like all good together very nicely.
That's actually amazing because you started off with one concept due to the social environment that we were all under at that moment and during the COVID times. And it's actually just grown, it sounds like in a very organic way. One of the questions I wanted to ask you was, what was life like now when you look back, when you was sitting at your desk job? How did you feel kind of mentally, spiritually? You know, can you make a comparison to what life was like and what it is now?
The thing is, I still have a lot of office work, but I just remember the first time I wrote an invoice for a hen party beach yoga class. It just feels so good. Just that's like this is actually my job. Yeah, and everything, like you said, everything just came into place. Like how I found, I was furloughed, and then starting the yoga, and discovering the different places for the forest bathing, and then also discovering that farm that I now can rent for the outdoor wellness events. People, I get so much good feedback. Just people absolutely love it. Especially now if you get all these like white flowers and you do the yoga, so it's every time it starts with an imagination how it could be. So at the moment I'm just imagine loads of wildflowers, butterflies, and you're doing the yoga and you have birds and there's no noise. And this was something that I imagined first, and then I found the farm, or I found the place where you can do that. And yeah, it's just lovely.
So different, right? I mean, like, I know that when I go to yoga, it is in a stuffy room.
Yeah.
Maybe I should change my venue where I but yeah, I mean, what you're offering sounds really, really beautiful. And it sounds like you can really connect with nature. And I think, you know, that's really good for our mental well-being. I mean, can you tell me a bit more about kind of the impact that outdoor yoga has on people's mental well-being and how it can change their lives?
Yes, definitely. So I realized it already during COVID. Some people actually came to me and said thank you because it was really important to get out, especially during the lockdown. And there's something special about doing it outdoors. Like, do you know, for example, eagle pose, you have this point of concentration. And this is just the wall or your own eyes in the mirror. It is kind of like the wind mirrors. It's so good to like looking far away, finding a balance with the wind. And there's sometimes things happening on the sea. Like once we had a seal, and the seal was just in front of us,
Oh,
and it was just
wow.
there. There were actually two seals, and I changed the whole yoga practice in a way that we can watch the seal in the same time.
Wow, that
Um,
sounds pretty cool. That does.
yeah, and then after we like people went swimming and swam to the seal, and so there was once we were at the sea, and then suddenly loads, hundreds of fish just started to jumping out. We were like,
Wow.
"Whoa, that's so amazing!"
And do you
Uh,
feel like happier within yourself since making your choices and decisions to go down and practice yoga in this way?
Yes, yeah. I just wanted to like just quickly also answer your question about well-being. I do actually have, so of course it's important to go to therapy if you have depressions and maybe take medications and stuff. But I think it's also very important just to go outside, not just doing the yoga, but also having the community, having friends, doing different activities outdoors. It sometimes any therapy, it does so much more than any therapy can do for you. It's just this connection with people, being outdoors, having the sun in your face, and just kind of getting you out, getting out of being in the office, being at home, and just go out and just really appreciating the nature again. That's and
absolutely. I mean, yeah, no, thank you, for sharing that, because I mean, that's important for us to know that just just being able to just go outside, because we do spend a lot of time indoors here in the UK due to the weather. But I was also following on from that question, just asking you about your kind of mental well-being and how that's kind of attributed to the way that you kind of feel as well.
I do realize that people come sometimes. So I don't do it anymore when it rains. I tried it a few times. But even so, for example, I just had a hen party yoga class, and it rained in the morning. It is cold outside. It's February, and they came. They probably all thought like, "Oh my God, what are we doing? Why are we doing this?" And never regret it. And so everything that I share with you, of course, is for myself as well, because I can sit inside looking outside thinking it's cold, I don't want to go. Especially Monday mornings, there's a yoga class with optional sea swim, and it's at 8 o'clock. It was at 7 o'clock before, and it was really hard. It's every time very hard to wake up in the morning, especially if it's cold. And then you go, and every time after, just feel like, I'm so happy that I went there. It's such a good way to start the week. And a lot of people who come have exactly the same feeling. It's like, then you go into the office and you work and stuff, but you have started your week outside.
Right.
On the beach.
Yes.
And
was that you that felt that way in the mornings before you shifted the times? Did you think, I don't want to go out in the cold?
Yeah, I think this every Monday morning. I was like, oh no. But now you go outside and you do your yoga practice, and it's so nice because the seafront is just empty. Last time it was like in the middle of January, and in front of us was the sun and the full moon behind us. We did our sun salutation on the beach. It's also a standing practice at the moment. And we're like, after that, like I have some music, really nice music that goes with it, and we listen to the waves and stuff. And everyone was there, and it was like, how nice to do that in the morning. Yeah, it does change your life. It's it's something for yourself, for your well-being. I also just started another thing that is called Outdoor Activity Group on Facebook and WhatsApp, and it is based on well-being, being outdoors, and is a group for people where people can come together. It has already 2,000, and people just love it because there's different groups now, and everything is based on well-being.
Yes. And I think people are craving for that right now, isn't it? In the times that we're living in, I think people are really like needing something for well-being that they can just kind of dive into, and it can be totally separate from perhaps their families or their work, and it's just them taking care of themselves.
And especially no politics. Like everywhere you go, you have to talk about politics, and you support this and you support that. And also what I find, like most people, the core, what if you ask them what's the most important thing for you, they answer the same. They want to have friends, family, warm, and and just to kind of create a connection with people that have the same interests in being outdoors, having adventure, fun. I'm talking about paddleboarding, barbecues, sitting together, going to saunas, and just something that we can just imagine a good life for yourself. And why should you just imagine that? You can do it. And
yes. And that's so nice that you're bringing that, because I think due to like looking outside the window today, it's like windy, and like I can see, like earlier on today, like my garden fence was like leaning due to the wind, and just what you're talking about kind of makes me think, okay, it's possible to kind of, be part of something, what you're talking about. Because often when we hear about outdoor yoga or outdoor activities, we associate it with warm weather or abroad. It might be something we do when we're going on holiday or something like that. So it's really nice to hear that this is something that anybody can anybody can get involved with, and it doesn't matter what time of year it's in.
Yes. So, for example, with our outdoor group last year, we just decided to just go. It rained so much. So we were like, okay, let's just go on Saturday. We're going to walk under the cliffs. There's like behind the marina in Brighton, there's cliffs. They're beautiful. There's like a walk, and we walked there. Everyone, so this is important. Everyone had waterproofs on because it rained. And it kind of started and stopped raining all the time, and the waves are splashing against that walk. And it was just the most amazing thing to just, this is something it was like in a water park or something that I kind of like splashed and went over. No, and the moment you don't get wet, you don't get cold because you don't get wet, it's just something amazing to have. And yeah, we kind of like, we shy away from these experiences because we're just like too comfortable. We are in our comfort zone. And I don't know if you ever heard about, there's a book, I think it is definitely about the comfort zone.
Right.
And a lot of depression is because we don't go out, we stay in our comfort zone.
Yes.
And everything is so comfortable. And in this book, and I actually forgot the name of the book. Sorry for that.
Yes.
But
yeah, no, but I understand what you're saying. It's almost like easier to just stay with what you know and then go out and challenge yourself or try something different or try something new.
So the main topic was basically that you don't appreciate your stuff anymore. So because if it's warm and you're comfortable all the time, then this is just normal. But then you go out and you go hiking and it's cold and wet, and then you come back and like, oh my God, this warm tea.
Yes, I think many people can resonate with that. But actually to push yourself and do that new challenge is about growth, and you're kind of, emerging out of this kind of sofa culture or your warm, whatever it is that you're used to. It actually just enables you to develop and grow, I think, physically and mentally as well.
Yeah, and who watches a movie about someone sitting on the sofa?
Yeah, that's right. That's actually really true. So if anybody wanted to find you, I mean, do you have like a web address or anything like that you would like to tell us about?
Yes, it's very easy to remember. It's just brightonyoga.co.uk.
Perfect. Oh, that's like the perfect domain, right? It's
Yes.
very easy. Xenia, thank you so much for sharing your yoga and your well-being journey with us. Your insights and your experience have been truly appreciated today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.